G'day guys, this is Amiga, back with another video. Look, I have to fit these little videos in on my lunch breaks and things like that. I also have a large family, so you have to forgive me for not getting regular uploads. I will be getting some more up soon, but just looking at these raids which have happened in Germany, around 35 or so raids which happened regarding hate speech, and it absolutely blows my mind. It blows my mind because I've got a German heritage. I'm from a German family. My grandfather and members of my family fought in World War II and were in Germany during World War II, and I never thought I would see the day when we would have this return back to fascism. And make no mistake, that is exactly what is happening. There's a return to fascism happening in Germany right now, and it's a totalitarian regime headed up by Merkel. From what I can see, I could be wrong, but this is what I've observed, and this is what I think is going on. I'm watching Merkel, who is what I deem the Queen of the EU, is called the Queen of the EU. With this, implementing this agenda in Germany and in wider Europe, which includes shutting down any detractors to the agenda which they are implementing. And you have to be, blind or stupid not to see that mass immigration is actually one of the tools in which they are using. So the way they are using that, obviously we're seeing the greatest human migration in the history of mankind. I mean, that is no small thing. That is massive. The largest migration of humans in all history. And it's happening from Syria into Europe and into the Western world. And they're basically using that as a tool to break down cultures, to break down identity. You've probably seen a lot of videos on what they're calling cultural enrichment, by bringing in massive amounts of people from a completely opposing culture, and watering down the genealogy of the people. They're able to destroy or water down culture. But I think this is a twofold thing. I think they're also bringing in, this adverse culture because they understand that it will clash with the local culture. It'll clash in a major way. We're talking about an archaic culture, which belongs in the Stone Age. We're talking about an archaic culture where they're still beheading people as punishments, where they are treating women like animals, where they allow child marriage, where anyone who doesn't fall into what they deem as a believer is fair game to kill. And they're using that culture or ideology to destabilize their own, literally to destabilize Europe. And by doing that, and I don't know if this is connected, but it's the old Illuminati creed. It's called order out of chaos. You create chaos, and when you've created that chaos, then you bring order. So you tell the people, we have a solution. The people say, yes, we're sick of all the bloodshed. We're sick of all this chaos. We need a solution. Please help us. So then they come in and say, well, what we need to do is turn this area into a police state. So not only are the EU looking at a complete monopoly on the whole of Europe with the financial side of things, but they want to control everything as well. And we've seen these arrests which have happened, these mass arrests, And the EU did a deal with a lot of internet companies, Facebook, even Google, Twitter, etc., about a year ago, looking at how they could tackle this sort of stuff. And what they've done is they're creating laws, the EU's creating laws, and Germany's helping them to define certain kinds of speech as hate speech. Now, I'll tell you what that is. This is the definition of hate speech according to the EU and Germany. Hate speech is anything which goes against our agenda. That's it. It's not actual hate speech. It's not actually. It's not actually. When they talk about, I just read over it, and they said we're trying to tackle speech which is basically a form of racism. And it's this false narrative that Islam is a race. Well, it doesn't. It's not even. It's not even reality. Or they say we're trying to outlaw any kind of hate speech against any religion that can be connected to an ethnicity. Now, listen, ideologies and religions are not connected to ethnicities. Yes, they are prevalent in certain countries and areas, but these ideologies are widely accepted or practiced by people who are outside those ethnicities. And if this was the case, if this was their real agenda to clamp down on racism and hate speech towards religions, which I don't think even as a religious person is tenable, because I think, all ideologies should be up for scrutiny. But they're just targeting. It's completely obvious. They're just, they're targeting anyone that is going against this particular agenda. So if you speak against Islam, you're speaking against a race. And we've just seen, 30 plus people, the houses raided, which is government intimidation to shut people down. I've had another fellow YouTuber called Ryan Rants. And I went to his page to see what he was up to, and his YouTube channel's been shut down for hate speech. And he was, in my opinion, he was fairly light on. And they've shut his entire YouTube page down. And so what we're seeing is a return to fascism. We're seeing a return to this totalitarian ideology, and it's sweeping across Europe. And I think people need to understand that, Hitler was not right-wing. Hitler was left-wing. Hitler was a socialist. And if you look at socialism itself, and the tenets of socialism, Hitler was for the downtrodden, for the workers, those who are being exploited by the state, or exploited by the powers to be, exploited by the people who are currently in power. That's exactly what he was doing, and that's what he used to get a foothold. Now that's not right wing that's not right wing. That's not capitalism. That's socialism, and we're seeing exactly this. We're seeing history repeat itself, and Merkel, who's been in power for that long, has become a dictator. She's done deals with the devil. She's done deals with the EU, and she is selling out everyone in her entire country. And it just makes me absolutely sick that the left and other people go along with this and cannot see that this is the beginning of their own enslavement. That is what is really happening. This is the beginning of mass government enslavement. I'm talking like New World Order, biblical enslavement, mate, like on a scale that people have never seen before. Europe turning into a police state where they police speech. Anyone that is speaking against the government, they will produce this narrative of hate speech and use that to jail them. And you know what the sentence is? 5 years. 5 years jail. And this is not for creating a racist narrative. This is not for hate speech. This is for speaking against the government agenda. And that is what is really happening. And people need to wake up. The internet is an awesome thing, but the internet and the mass media have become a massive tool of systematic brainwashing. And unfortunately, most people don't even understand this. It's one of the infuriating things for me. I mean, we've just seen, 4chan or somebody who's created a video saying, alien life has been found and NASA's going to announce it soon. And all the all the mainstream media outlets ran the story without a shred of evidence and printed it. And then you've got all these people believing it. We're seeing, if I go to my Google News, I see an entire segment devoted to Donald Trump. So you've got people who are being funded by, interest groups, and they're funding media groups to assassinate his character. And those people are doing that because that's how they make their living. There's no validity behind it. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's a typo. It doesn't matter, what it is. They turn it into a negative news story. And it's systematic brainwashing. And, thank God a lot of people on the internet are actually waking up to all this. They sort of read a lot of this stuff and go, oh, this is just, the regular brainwashing stuff. This is control. This is propaganda. We understand this. But the sad fact is that apart from us, those who are savvy on the internet, a large majority of people actually listen to this stuff and actually believe that it's real, that these people are credible, that they're telling some sort of truth, and we end up with a leftist going down to a baseball field with a gun and trying to kill Republicans. That's what we end up with, because that's how naive people are. This was just a quick lunchtime video. I hope you all have a great day. Peace out to you. And guys, resist the brainwashing. Tell your friends about it. Tell your friends, look, you have to be able to discern what you're looking at on the internet. You have to discern what CNN is doing. You have to discern what all these media outlets are spewing out, because it's pure propaganda. Don't be manipulated. Don't be brainwashed. And wake up. Samiga, I'll be back soon with another video. I'm going to do an ultimate cut of my interview with Tawhidi and break that down a bit for everyone, and just, I know it's a long interview, so I'll get the best parts of that and I'll have that up when I get around to it. Cheers, guys. Have a great day. Bye.